Hi everyone, welcome to another Tech Nerd tutorial. Today we're going to install Wallabag, a web page saving app on Ubuntu 14.04. Wallabag is a self-hosted application for saving web page content in the event that the host web page no longer exists. Then that content is saved on your own personal server to be accessed at any time. It is open source, and if we scroll down, there is information for features to try and to register. We don't want any of these. We want to download Wallabag, so there's a link directly under downloads in the sidebar. That will take us to a big blue button, but we actually want to click the link right above it, need help about installation. That will take us to the documentation. We'll click the read the documentation, choose the language English, and then download an installation in the left sidebar. Now we're in the page that we want in order to install Wallabag. We're going to install it manually, so we need to first set up a web server. In Terminal, we can go ahead and install taskcell, which will make it easier for us to install our web server. So sudo apt-get install taskcell, type in your administrator password, then it's going to go ahead and ask us to confirm the installation. We'll let it go ahead and install, and then after that we can now launch taskcell. So we can then go ahead and type in sudo taskcell, and that will launch the installation manager. We'll get this nice screen. We just need to scroll down with our arrows, space bar to select LAMP server, and then install by hitting enter. It will then go ahead and do its installation. When it's almost done, it will ask us to put a password for the SQL database, so we can go ahead and type in that password. And it's a MySQL database. We need to confirm that password, and then it's going to go ahead and finish the rest of the installation. Once the installation is done, we can return to Wallabag's web page in order to continue our installation. So I'm going to just go ahead and now close Terminal, and then we can get to our installation instructions. We now need to first download Wallabag, so in Terminal we can just copy and paste the next couple lines of code. It uses wget and unzip, so I'm just going to double check that I have that installed by going sudo apt-get install wget and unzip. Once again, type in my password. It's going to say that both are at their newest version. We're good to go. I can now copy and paste the first line into Terminal, and then from there it will then download Wallabag in a compressed form onto my computer. So it's going to go ahead download. It only takes a couple seconds and then it's done. Then I can go to the next line and once again just copy and paste it. So copy unzip latest, so copy and then paste. So that will then expand our compressed folder. So we're going to have a Wallabag folder on our home folders, and in there it's going to be labeled with its version. So we could change it in Terminal, but the easiest thing to do is actually just go out and close Terminal, and instead of using the command, open up File Explorer, and from there we can just find the folder and rename it with the contextual menu and just delete the version number so that it just says Wallabag. It'll just make it a lot easier to move. From there we can close the file manager. We can now skip the next line because that's what we just did, except in the file manager. And then we can now go ahead and copy that to our web server. Because we've installed the LAMP server, this line is already set up for that, so we can just go ahead and copy and paste, and this will move the Wallabag folder to our LAMP server. So we do that, we hit enter. It asks again for our password, we type that, and then we're good to go. We now need to install into there a few other additional PHP extensions for us to get Wallabag to work. It looks like a lot of text, so I've just already summarized to you, and it will appear at the bottom of the screen what we need to type into our terminal in order to install all those different extensions. You can also go to our website to be able to just copy and paste this line of code from our written tutorials as well. So here I'm just going ahead and typing in sudo apt-get install PHP 5 FPM, PHP 5 CLI, PHP 5 MySQL, PHP 5 mcrypt, PHP 5 tidy, PHP 5 curl, and then PHP 5 GD. SQLite, and then PHP 5 GD. Go ahead and install all that. It's going to install all that. This takes a little bit of time, so don't be surprised if it takes a couple minutes. But once it's fully installed, all we have to do now is restart our web server, and then it will take effect all these additional extensions. So we can just type in sudo service apache2 restart, and then now our web server has now been updated with all these extensions. So that summarized this little section, so we can just scroll all the way past that, and we need to install Twig. So for this, the easiest way is to just go ahead and click the link in the center of the screen. It is going to download from Firefox, and from there we can just open it with the archive manager. It's going to pop up. We can just click on the folder. We can go ahead and click on extract, and we want to make sure we extract it to home, and then from there hit the extract button. I need to expand this window to get to my extract button, but I go ahead, click it, it's going to extract, we're done, we can now quit. I'm just going to open up my file manager so that you can see that we now have a vendor folder in our home folder. That's where it needs to be so that we can move it to our web server properly. We can now go ahead and open up our terminal, and now we need to move the vendor folder into the Wallabag folder of the web server. So we're going to type sudo mv for move vendor, and then the location of Wallabag, so /var/www/html/Wallabag, enter. So now that we've done installing Twig, we can once again close terminal, we can scroll down, and now we need to create the database. There's quite a few options. You can technically use SQLite, and then you can skip this step, but that does not have the most functionality, so we're going to do the MySQL. That we just need to copy the first line of the next section back into the terminal, paste that in, and hit enter. It's going to ask for a password. This is the password we created when we first installed LAMP through TaskCell. And then from there we can then copy the next line, but we don't want to copy the MySQL, just to create database Wallabag section. If you want a different database name, you want to change Wallabag here. Then we go ahead and copy and paste the next line, once again only going as far as the MySQL forward angle brackets, and we want to paste it in. But before we hit enter, we do want to change what's between the last parenthesis, the last apostrophes, into a more unique password. So we go ahead and do that, and then we go ahead and hit enter. We could have also changed the user from Wallabag from there, but it's really up to you. And then the last one is exit. I'm just going to go ahead and type that in. We can now close terminal, and the very last thing that we need to do is make sure that our web server has the correct permissions. So we just go ahead and copy the next line, and this is the last thing we do in terminal. We open it, we paste it in, and then we do have to do our administrative password one more time, and then we are ready to go with Wallabag. So now this is done, we can go ahead, close terminal for the last time, open a brand new tab, go to our web server. I am going to be using the public web address. You can definitely check out the annotation on the screen to learn how to create one. And then I'm appending in the Wallabag fragment. The server compatibility test says we're all good. The Twig installation says that we're good. We can now choose the MySQL database. The server is going to be localhost. The existing database is Wallabag unless you changed it. The user is Wallabag unless you changed it. Password is what I suggested that you change, so you change that to what you changed it to from before. And we don't want to check off the UTF-8 MB4. We can choose to change the first user settings. The default password is also Wallabag. I'm not for this demonstration, and then it should say that it's successfully installed. We can click here to access the login form. Then we can go ahead and type in our username, Wallabag, and our password, Wallabag, and then we can go ahead and sign in. This is now where we're going to house all of the web page content that we choose to save in Wallabag. It is quite simple to use. There is a save link section. You can copy and paste the link, or you can type in the link if you would like, and then it will go ahead and save the contents of that link. If you type it in, please don't be like me and forget the http://. It does need that in this particular field in order for it to properly save the page. So when I go ahead and hit save link, it will say that it's done. I can now close this box and go back to my unread section, and then the new web page content will appear as a new section in this web page. I can go ahead and click on the Tech Nerd Services web page, and it does only take the content. So you can see that it doesn't actually make it look pretty or anything, just images and text is what it takes. I can then now go to my blog and say maybe there's an article on my blog that I'd want to keep. So in order for me to keep it, I just open up a new tab. I type in my blog.technerdservices.com, where you can find articles like the one that's going to be associated with this video and others. And then maybe I want to go ahead and look at this 10 tips for using Google Drive. So I open this article and I want to keep this. I can then go ahead and copy the address that is in the address bar and then go back to Wallabag. Whoops, this is the wrong page. Go back to Wallabag and save that as a link. And there I can now go ahead and paste and save. And now with this article saved, when I go to my unread, I will see this new article, and it does save the images and it does save the content quite well. So then it looks as if I'm almost reading it from that original page. So even if that page disappears one day, I've now saved this on my own server. And that is how we install Wallabag on Ubuntu Desktop 14.04. Hi everyone, thanks again for watching this video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any additional questions or comments. Furthermore, check out some of our related videos or find us in our social media. If you would like email notifications of whenever we release new video or written tutorials, you can go to our webpage technerdservices.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter. We will send to your inbox notifications of those new video and tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, keep teching on.